If you could give your wife the best gift that would trump all other gifts to get her to come back and have it be the secret to restoring attraction and intimacy in your marriage, would you give her that gift?
But it's went to like 10 times the intimacy. It's like all the time, every day, all day. She's like, I don't know what's going on. She goes, you walk around here like you're a stud. And I'm like,
Now, this gift is one of only 3 things Bryan did to win his wife back. And I'll just say that when you apply the first one, it turns your wife's head with a renewed intrigue back to you again. And that's because it contradicts typical masculine behaviors. It's actually the opposite of what you're used to doing with her. And you'll start rebuilding trust with her again as she opens up to you and only you.
she looked at me. She goes, I just love you. She goes, I'm proud you're mine. I'm so happy that you're mine. And just a few short months back, she was ready to walk out of our house, walk away from this marriage. She'd already filed the papers.
When Bryan's wife pulled the plug on their marriage, it wasn't actually the first time. In the past, she'd moved out for a period of months before coming back to him again. But now after 18 years together, 18 years and repeated patterns of toxic behavior, she had enough. Yet Bryan suspected something else was up.
I could tell something was going on. And I'm always going to church. I'm faithful. I'm religious, and I go to church. One day I came home. She quit going, and I felt something was wrong. I had a call with Kristen, and I just felt like, man, something's wrong. So I started checking the phone records, like a lot of us do, and I seen there was lots of phone calls to a certain number, and I was like, you know what's going on?
Bryan's wife confessed she'd fallen in love with another man, but not just any man. It was her high school sweetheart, just like with my mother and father. Of course, Bryan felt betrayed, shattered. Words can't even really articulate the pain. His wife moved into the spare room, but it was harder for him than if she'd moved out altogether.
A couple weeks before Thanksgiving, she moved into the spare bedroom, and I was like, oh, man, this is worse than before. It was easier with her not here than to interact with her daily. And so I was like, what do I have to do? And I really just poured myself into the course.
Despite his world crumbling down around him, Bryan had one more crucial realization about her affair that served as the first step in actually turning things around.
I was so frustrated, but I didn't realize that I didn't intentionally cause that, and it's not my fault that she did that. But a lot of things I did led up to that point.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly. He immediately took ownership of his role in where his marriage was at. Immediately took ownership. And I'm so glad that he reached out, because it was through our work together that he discovered this first habit. And I'm giving all the credit to him. A habit that not only dramatically improved his marriage, but it is one that defies the natural male instinct, which is why adopting this uncommon behavior causes your wife to notice. She'll soften up in ways she never would have before. It's called empathetic silence. Hear it out in Bryan's words.
she'd come home and, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. And I'm like, well, I try to fix what I thought I was fixing.
Mm.
Um, I just wasn't listening. I wasn't validating how she really felt. Learning how to validate, learning to just be quiet, not say anything, and just listen to what she had to say.
He learned to listen to his wife and validate her feelings. Now, as men, look, you have a natural tendency to try to fix your wife's problems when she voices them, to get her to see a different perspective to make her feel better. So it's good intentions, and we're very logical, right? We don't want problems, we want peace. So it makes sense of why we do this. So I'm giving you some grace. But when you learn to just sit with her emotions and just listen, showing that you understand how she's feeling, not trying to fix, not trying to change her, allowing, just accepting, it is not only a game changer in communication, but also connection. And once Bryan got good at it, he started helping others achieve empathetic silence as well.
I think the learning to validate her and listen, because I think that to me, I watch a lot of guys, and I even talked to my younger stepson, and he's going through things, and I'm like, hey, you need to learn to just sit back. You don't have to say a word. You can go 2 or 3 days. You don't have to say anything. She just wants to know you're there to listen to her. You don't have to try to fix it. I tell him, don't try to fix it, because when you try to fix it, that's when you're messing things up. She doesn't want to be fixed. She just wants to be heard. That was something that really showed her that I was changing.
There's actually a study done by Carl Rogers, one of the best therapists of all time. It was just called active listening. It explored the effects of empathetic listening in communication with people. And it underscores the importance of why validation is so powerful in connection. Because when you validate her, something as simple as that, you're showing you understand and acknowledge her existence, okay? Without immediately offering advice or solutions, which is deeply reassuring and builds emotional safety and trust. You also prevent logic from obstructing a genuine connection with your wife. Now, this approach, much like the second habit, breaks an invisible barrier. And this barrier had been really hindering not just Bryan's marriage, but all his relationships since his youth. I'll let Bryan describe it.
I was for sure 100%. I could say 120% needy because I didn't have that growing up. This is my second marriage. My first marriage was pretty rough, a lot rougher than this one. And I was needy then. I just didn't realize it till this course. I started taking this course. I'm like, wow, I'm extremely needy. And my wife always told me, give me space.
Right.
And I didn't realize that she just needed just some time just to think, enjoy life without me being.
Bryan is talking about something called spacious affection. His neediness, driven by a constant desire to be around her, prevented him from giving his wife the space that she needed to feel safe, okay? This overwhelming presence diminished the attraction in their marriage over time. But however, Bryan learned that practicing spacious affection, okay, this skill, loving her from a healthy masculine mindset when his own purpose came first, it alone was one of the best gifts that he could offer her. It's that little bit of absence that makes her heart grow fonder for you. Neediness manifests in various forms, often stemming from childhood issues. Bryan was able to identify the root cause of this destructive behavior.
So with my mom and my dad, he never told me he loved me. He always provided for our family. I never remember getting a hug. I never remember any of that. My mom, she would hug me, and I knew she loved me. She would tuck me in at bed every night and tell me how I love you, son. Give me a kiss. But to really feel loved, I didn't know what that felt like.
Wow. I cannot stress enough that if you're struggling in your marriage right now, more than ever, she needs space, especially if she's a stubborn, avoidant personality type, which a lot of the wives are, okay? You have to give space. I know it's hard because without that space, she's never going to have the opportunity to see you as a new man, even if you are changing. And Bryan overcoming his neediness and adapting a mindset of indifference, healthy, loving indifference, it was one of the most powerful changes he made that attracted his wife back. He started to want her, but not need her.
And I got to a point that if she left and she moved out and we got a divorce, I was okay. I was going to be okay. I can make it. I'm self-sufficient. I'm a good guy. I don't have to have another person in my life, even though I want that. I don't have to have it, to be okay with who I am. Um, I started looking at my family and my children, my grandchildren. I was like, all of this is worth living for. I want her and I choose her, but I don't have to have her. So learning all that through the course, which to me it was pivotal in changing my life.
Bryan gave her the gift of that spacious affection, so she felt free to be herself, and she was more attracted to him for it. Now, for the third thing that Bryan did to solidify his marriage, turning around, adapting this next habit puts positive emotional investments into her bank account, showing her that you're a masculine, safe place that she's been subconsciously seeking, which sparks a new level of respect and attraction for you. Did you notice that testing from her at all?
Oh, did I ever? I would call my guys. I'm like, look, man, I don't know what to do. She would test me. Man, would she ever? Like sometimes, when she would sleep in the other bedroom, I would knock because my neediness was still there. I was learning that I'd knock on the door or I'd unlock the door and I would go in. I'm like, hey, can I lay with you? Can I cuddle? That was my neediness. And sometimes she would say yes. Sometimes she would say no. And then sometimes she would initiate sex and then she would stop. And it was a test. Was I going to get mad? Was I going to be angry? Well, then it got to the point it would go the other way around, which she would want it. And I'm like, look, that's not what it's about. I just want to be with you. I want to, open. And then it got some of my guys were like, don't cut her off too much because then you're going to make it worse. So it was a hard balance. And I was like, oh my God.
It is the trial equilibrium. And this is what you have to know about Tess, is that she knows the exact things to say and do that are right at the edge of your boundary, sometimes crossing it over. And when she's in that lack of feeling connected to you, she's going to test you to essentially see if you're going to break, if you're going to be dismissive, if you're going to push her away, if you're going to be reactive. And then if you fail that test by doing those things, by being a lower value man, it just reaffirms in her protector mindset that you're not the man for her. And so being aware that when she does those things to push you away or take space or say you're not the man for her, say you're not a good fit, say there's other people out there better for her than you, it is all a test. She's saying to you, that's a challenge. Are you going to be that man for me? Are you going to be the loving, apex, confident man I want you to? She's not saying it directly because women challenge. They are indirect by nature. You must know this, okay? Don't fail. And when Bryan honed his ability to pass her tests, it really brought his masculine presence to her. It made a world of difference in their marriage. And it wasn't just his wife who noticed, actually.
There's a couple of ladies I work around a lot of assisted living facilities, and they'll come up and they'll pinch you on the side or something. And I'm like, I just have to let it go in and, out. I know it's nothing about that. It's just they're being okay because you're masculine and you're being that part that they're not used to seeing. My wife, she loved it.
I have one more important thing to tell you, which is what really holds men back the most. It isn't not learning these skills. Yes, these skills are super important. But what will hold you back from getting the marriage back that you deserve, the wife, unlocking that woman that is still there, that loves you with all of her heart, what's going to hold you back more than anything is not what I teach you. It is your hope and belief that it's possible. And that is something I wish I could give you. But I can't give you that hope and that certainty and that confidence that you can turn things around. But if you can go deep down in your heart and just listen to that voice of truth and say like, yes, I can do that. There is a possibility. Then we can help you. We'll give you the proven roadmap. So set up a call down below by clicking the link. It's a free call, but make sure you're fully committed to making some change, because if you are, we have a whole team of people to help you. Check out this other video right here of this other guy we helped save his marriage, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.